families, do well with their lives, and this, that, and the other. Why would you not? I mean, it's just, it's silly. That's because whites have become domesticated. It's not domesticated. Whites have lost value. See, it's not domesticated. It's not. That's just bad. Whites have become, and I hate looking at it from a point of view of race, right? But this is what people are going to do. But so let's look at it like that, right? A bunch of white people in the UK, and I guess this is what people mean, like, oh, we need British to be more white people and stuff like that. I see Indian people that are born here and bred as British people. I see even Muslims that are born and bred here, I see them as British people. I see black people born and bred here as British people. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's me. That's how I see this. But people need to see this from a lens of race. And if you really want to look at it from the lens of race, how fucking pathetic are white people, right? Really? Don't you agree with that? I mean, all those white people, all that mass immigration, well, that was done by a bunch of white people controlling the country, right? Oh. So all the things you're not happy with is because of the result of white people's actions. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Straight white Christian males are and have been demonized. Yeah, I know society has demonized white people, and I'm not, again, I'm against that. That's racism. I'm against that, right? And I disagree with people demonizing them and stuff like that. I do. But when it comes down to just paying attention to white culture, what's white culture, right? We do have white cultures, like Yorkshire puddings, dinners and stuff. There's tons of stuff that I see as cultural when it comes to white people or what I'd say is British culture or American culture. Do you know what I mean? And again, other people can take part in those cultures of different races, so does it become a white culture then? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Let's face it, Brits, they got you with the curry lobsters, Trez. That's it. It's over. Like I say, it's not like, and people, are you saying white people have, no, I think white people do have tons of different types of culture and tons of history that's out there. Can't disagree with that at all. At all. But when it comes down to traditional values, do you know a bunch of people with traditional values that are white in America? Do you know a bunch of people with traditional values that are white in the UK? I can guarantee you I know a bunch of Indian people with traditional values in the UK, in India, and they're probably, Australia, fucking England, America, fucking, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that there aren't white people out there that have it. I'm saying you're not the majority. And I wish you were. I honestly wish you were. I think people need to understand this, what I'm saying. I wish that white people in America and England and Australia had more traditional values. That's what I wish. I wish that was the majority. But it's not. That's the thing. And I just wish, that's the thing, I just wish it was. That's the best way of putting this. I wish from that point of view, for some people's sakes and stuff like that, however you want to see this, I wish that. But you don't. Indian people have more traditional values than you do, but let's shit on them because, the cow poop stuff over there and they've got bad cuisine. And yeah, no, I agree with you on those things, but they also have better traditional values. And I think that's something that people are going to struggle to actually come to an understanding of, that, fuck, yeah. They do. They're more traditional, and they have more traditional values, and are more cohesive than white people are in any fucking country, pretty much. I'd say, well, actually, I would say maybe there's some places in Europe that are a little bit better. Some of them that are okay with that, but again, it's few and far between. Have you ever seen the documentary 100 Proofs the Ancient Israelites for White? No, I've not. Whites have done more for spreading the word of God and Christianity than any other race, says Titus Frost. Again, I don't disagree with that. But what does that mean about your society, though, where divorce is rampant? What's that got to do with your Christian fucking values? I'm not even a Christian, but I can tell you that I don't like divorce, and I won't be divorced from my wife, and we'll be happily married until we die. That's just how this is. Because that's the decision. It's not even just a decision made. I was happy to make that decision because I knew she had the same values as me. But tell me about how divorce is rampant in these Christian countries. You can't, no one here is going to sit there in the chat and tell me, nah, divorce is low in white people when it comes to America. Fuck off. You have a whole state dedicated to marriage and divorce. Last fucking Vegas, you have a whole state dedicated to sin. Pretty much. It's bad. I say state, a whole area of it, just dedicated to sin in America. I love that. Literally called Sin City. It's gold, right? And I'm not trying to upset or offend people here. I'm not. Divorce rates are high, right? And again, it's not just white people. There's black people. Yeah, I know that. I know, but you can't sit there and talk about. I'm talking about traditional conservative values right now, and I'm saying Indians have it more than white people do. I think Indians have this more than black people do. I think white people have it more than black people do. Do you see what I mean? Is that making it sense? I think Asians, above all, will have it way more as well, like I say, but it's... I'm just being real. Yeah, birth rate is low, says Trez. Yeah, I'm just being real. You know this. You can't sit there and get angry about, oh, the birth rate's low for white people. Guess why? Hello? Like, why do you think? Oh, she's so stupid. Why is the birth rate low for white people? I'll tell you why. Because you're not having fucking kids. That's why. Because you're not sticking together. You've not got cohesive units. You don't have family. You don't have traditional values. You don't have that. No. Guarantee you there's a bunch of fucking, like, daddyless children out there, or single. How many single parent? How much has that been on the fucking rise in white nations, as you want to call it? England, Australia, America, Europe. Single parent households on the rise. On the rise. Birth rate low, but when it comes to the actual, and even with the births that happen, single parenthood on the rise. You know this, man. And I'm not trying to upset you. I'm just trying to tell you the reality. So to say, oh, Indians are controlling more. Yeah, because they have traditional values. And those traditional values and cohesive units have led to them owning more land in London than the white British man, I guess that means, or the British man, the Englishman himself, it says here. Yeah, that's how it works when you don't have those values anymore. That's all I talk about in this show, is having principles, having values, being consistent. No. That's what I talk about. Then I'm going to have to unsubscribe from your channel if you hold these views. I too am conservative, but I will not abandon my culture. Piss off, John. Cogswold says off license. Off license again. Again, I know people are going to be upset with this. I'm not abandon your culture. I'm not. American culture, I love American culture. Enjoy your culture. British culture, I enjoy Indian people that enjoy British culture. They celebrate Christmas. My wife and stuff, we've just had Christmas here and stuff like that. Is that British culture? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you to get rid of your culture. I hate culture shocks. I hate people coming in thinking they should change your culture. I do. But you can't be upset if you won't do anything about it. Unsubscribe, folks, is off license. I knew I'd upset some people today, and I wouldn't say to do that. But hey, like I say, Cog, so you're saying we shouldn't have let women vote? Says I again. I know you're making a joke there. Dr. Mr. Black laughing too. Off license, like I say, if you really think I'm trying to say give up on your culture, that's crazy. That's not what I said at all. I mean, the whole point of saying that I agree with traditional values is that you should be embracing your culture more and actually having that value. But unfortunately, when your culture has now essentially become a high divorce rate, single parenthood, yeah, I think you should be saying that's not part of our culture. But unfortunately, it's thriving right now there. Do you know what also thrives in American culture and in English culture? Is these softcore porn fucking music videos and stuff like that, which is only actually infecting. If you go and look at Indian music videos and stuff like that, you can see how a lot of them are trying to get closer to that look, but they're very traditional. They're the sort of music that people can literally play around their own family and stuff like that, because it's just, the lyrics aren't fucking about sucking dicks and fucking shaking asses and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, like I say, again, if people are going to leave, it's a real honest opinion. This, I don't care if it upsets you. I'm not here to try and make you happy. I like to do shows. I like to entertain, and I'm not here to offend you. But if you can't understand where I'm coming from, I mean, I just don't understand how to help you, really. Like, you know full well that I'm correct in what I say, that these people have more traditional values than, like it or not, a bunch of white people, Englishmen, Americans, whatever you call yourselves. And that's the reason why in our countries, like it or not, divorce is high on the rise when it comes. And these are, if you want to call, we're talking about demographics. It's, again, people love talking about demographics when it's black people and crime, but you talk about white people and divorce rates and white people in single parent households, and we can't talk about that now because that's negative on the white person. Sorry, but if you don't want to talk about the problem, you're never going to solve it. And if you're never going to solve it, you're going to sit here and have your country owned by a lot more people who you think is an issue because of their race. And I don't really give a shit. I just see traditional people here with traditional values, embracing British culture, and also owning land in the UK. I don't really see any issue with that, but people do. This is the cognitive thought I subscribed to back in 2019, says Shoebox. Yeah, I've always, I don't know when I've not been like this. I think some people need to take a not one step back attitude towards a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Trez, off license, I don't agree with the things that Johnny says, but closing the dialogue is senseless. Things don't get better. You don't understand the minds of others. Ignorance is not always bliss. That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, you may not agree with me on this, and that is totally fine. That's totally fine. But all I'm seeing right now is people who have traditional values owning land in the UK, and people have an issue with this because they're Indian. That's insane to me. But if it's the traditional values, if it was owned more by the Englishman, then it would be okay, even though they probably have high divorce rates and stuff, which I guess it just shows you how they lack their traditional values. It's crazy stuff, man. Divorce culture, divorce culture. We accept it as normal when it was never normal for hundreds of years. Divorce was an act only allowed by a kid law. Again, yeah, I agree with you 100%. It was never a culture, and it is now. It's literally rampant. And you know, like one in the right, I've got to just see if people can agree with points on this. One, if you agree that divorce is rampant in the UK, like between, you know, divorce is rampant in America, in the UK, in Australia. And especially when it comes to white people as well. You may not want to put the one for the white people stuff, but look, like it or not, there's, you know I'm right with that. And again, of course, and again, majority of the UK and America are going to be white people, so that is going to factor into that, okay? That is going to factor in. It's, but like it or not, one, absolutely, it's almost 50% here. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. But that, one in the chat, if you, let's see if we can carry on. 5 in the chat. If you understand that that's because of a breakdown, the majority of that is a breakdown of traditional values because they don't have that, like, get married and stay together forever. They've probably come from a broken household where they've seen them break up before. This doesn't mean that broken households will lead to that always happening. Some people don't want to be like their parents and want to actually do that normal life. So it's not that I disagree, but I've seen 5, so people understand that point too. That's good. I don't want that to be a thing. I can't express that anymore. I don't want that to be a thing in society. Right? I can't stand it. It shits all over marriage divorce. It literally does. I understand if there's an abusive relationship because sometimes people have got married and then the guy has just started beating the shit. I've heard stories of that, and I don't disagree that that's a grounds for not being with someone. You know, they're literally physically abusing you, and I don't disagree with that sort of stuff at all. But again, these are like few and far between things from my point of view. Just like when people, like women who are raped and get pregnant, and then are they allowed an abortion? Yeah, I think they should be allowed an abortion when it comes to that situation. Yeah, but again, it's small outliers of information with this and outliers of what's coming through, but it's good to see. I'm glad people are understanding this again. Again, we may not always agree on stuff, and if you're going to unsubscribe from a channel because I don't appeal to every single fucking viewpoint of view, then you've always been looking for someone to adhere to you, and that's not why I'm here. I'm here to entertain, but I am going to rant and have my point of view from time to time, which again, you don't have to agree with. You can have your own point of view. That's fine. I'm trying to tell you why I have this point of view. You don't actually want whites to do something about it or you'll start crying, says Maddock Covery. See, I don't care. I don't really care. Whites, let's white. But again, that sounds like it has to include violence or something. What's wrong? Couldn't white people just buy property and land? Was that too hard to just do that? That's what I'm trying to say to you, Maddock Covery. What I'm seeing today is people upset because Indians bought land and property in London. Whereas I assume the Englishmen didn't, though. And again, they could have done it and done something about it, but they don't. They don't. Ah, Dr. Mr. Black, maybe people have a problem with the property in London owned majority by Indians because the Indians are openly rubbing it in their faces. I mean, are they doing that? I don't know. If they are, then, you know, fine. But hey, I don't really care. I don't really care about that. Like, that just means you're a sore loser, really, doesn't it? Like, they're rubbing it in our faces that they own the property. Just accept reality that they do. Oh, they're rubbing it in my face. Are they really rubbing it? Or are they just happy that they've achieved something as a culture, as a unit? And what did you do as a unit? Lose. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm seeing here. Is just like, it's proper loser mentality. It's just crazy. Nothing, a lot of fights, people saw that. Dot Smith's like 40%. One, but it's not as simple as cultural problem. The breakdown was largely put upon them, says don't help me, bro. Again, like I say, I think there's been a lot of change in culture within England, America, even Australia, Europe. When it went from having very traditional, very I want to say the nuclear family sort of thing, but those sort of households, and like even when I was growing up, like my mum and dad were together till death did they part, and they had those values. And I saw so many people in school where their parents had broken up, had a divorce, this, that, and the other. And then a ton of people when they were young. And this is another thing. We had a huge thing in the UK with teenage pregnancy and stuff like that, where people were just having kids. There was a whole thing about kids having kids in this country because it was just gross, right? And to the point where Coronation Street had a whole fucking drama spin-off of one of the teenage girls in school getting pregnant with some dude in school or something like that. And that's how it was, right? And you had a lot of these teenage pregnancies in the UK, and we had this massive influx of basically children who had children and no education, no nothing. And we had a lot of that. And then they're in these relationships that break down because there was never... It's just crazy. And I know I'm not the only person who saw this happen in this fucking country. Oh, my gosh. It's because hookup culture has become norm. Fade is correct. That's right. Yeah, hookup culture is such a norm thing. It's not to mention the net has caused a breakdown of society. Yet the net's done it as well. Brain rot is a literal thing on the internet these days. I don't disagree.